I'm going to read you the official press release by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition about the abduction of the Handala, which just happened in international waters. The Israeli military attacks the Handala in international waters, abducting 21 unarmed civilians. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition confirms that its civilian vessel Handala, en route to break Israel's illegal genocidal blockade on Palestinians in Gaza, has been violently intercepted by the Israeli military in international waters about 40 nautical miles from Gaza. At 11:43 Palestine time, the occupation cut the cameras on board Handala, and we lost all contact with our ship. The unarmed boat was carrying life-saving supplies when it was boarded by Israeli forces, its passengers abducted, and its cargo seized. The interception occurred in international waters outside Palestinian territorial waters off Gaza in violation of international maritime law. Handala carried a shipment of critical humanitarian aid for Palestinians in Gaza, including baby formula, diapers, food, and medicine. All cargo was non-military, civilian, and intended for direct distribution to a population facing deliberate starvation and medical collapse under Israel's illegal blockade. The Handala carried 21 civilians representing 12 countries, including parliamentarians, lawyers, journalists, labor organizers, environmentalists, and other human rights defenders. The crew includes human rights defenders in the United States, Chris Smalls, an Amazon labor union founder, Huwaida Araf, a human rights attorney, Jacob Berger, a Jewish American activist, Bob Subiri, a Jewish U.S. war veteran, Braden Peluso, a sailor and direct action activist, Dr. Frank Romano, an international lawyer and actor. From France, Emma Farreau, a parliamentarian and activist. From France and Sweden, Gabrielle Cathala, a parliamentarian and former humanitarian worker. Justine Kempf, a nurse with Doctors Without Borders. Médecins du Monde, the Doctors of the World. Anjay Sahuquet, engineer and human rights activist, and from Italy, Antonio Mazzeo, teacher, peace researcher, journalist, Antonio Toni Lapicirea, climate and social justice organizer. From Spain, Santiago Gonzalez Vallejo, economist and activist, Sergio Toribio, engineer and environmentalist. From Australia, Robert Martin, human rights activist, and Tania Tan Safi, the journalist and organizer of Lebanese descent. Then we also have from Norway, Vigdis Bjorvand, a 70-year-old lifelong justice advocate, and from the United Kingdom and France dual citizenship, Chloe Fiona Ludden, the former UN staff member and scientist on board. From Tunisia, we have Hatem Aouni. He's a trade unionist and international activist. And journalists on board, we have Mohamed El Bakali from Morocco, the senior journalist with Al Jazeera based in Paris. From the Iraqi and United States citizenship, we have Wad Al Musa. He was the cameraman and field reporter with Al Jazeera. The attack on the Handala is the third violent act by Israeli forces against Freedom Flotilla coalition missions this year alone. It follows the drone bombing of the civilian aid ship the Conscience in European waters in May, which injured 4 people and disabled the vessel, and the illegal seizure of the Madeleine in June, where Israeli forces abducted 12 civilians, including a member of the European Parliament. Shortly before their abduction, the Handala's crew affirmed that they would be hunger striking if detained by Israeli forces and not accepting any food from the Israeli occupation forces. Israeli officials have ignored the International Court of Justice's binding orders that require the facilitation of humanitarian access to Gaza. The continued attacks on peaceful civilian missions represent a grave violation of international law. Quote, Israel has no legal authority to detain international civilians aboard the Handala, end quote, said Anne Wright, a member of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition Steering Committee. Quote, this is not a matter of internal Israeli jurisdiction. These are foreign nationals operating under international law in international waters. Their detention is arbitrary, unlawful, and must end. End quote.